Hello again, golf fanatics. Billy Ho here, coming at you for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am DFS preview show, DFS game plan, one and done, jump starter research show, all that kind of good stuff. Pebble Beach is going to be a real game changer this week, so we need to get off on the right foot, all right? Changing course rotation, less interaction with the amateurs, less goofball amateurs. We'll get into all that. But ultimately, we still have to find those players that are going to score us the DraftKings points and put us up the leaderboard in our one and done tournaments because we need to get a chunk of that signature money, which is $20 million purse. So let's get this thing started. All right. No more Larry the Cable Guy. No more Raymond Romano. And I know we'll all miss Bill Murray, but he's getting a little long in the tooth and getting a little tired, in my opinion. So we got us some notable amateurs that can play some golf and then some CEOs of things of that nature to go along with our guys. And those will only be playing on Thursday and Friday. So we'll get the weekend to the pros all to ourselves. The field will play Spyglass Hill on Thursday or Friday, alternating those 2 days with the amateurs. And it's a field of 80 players and it's a no cut event. So all that factors in. Obviously, you'll hear it 100 times. So we're going to start with a quick overview of Spyglass Hill. So let's go. Spyglass Hill, unique layout. The first 5 holes hug the coastline before the tree-lined fairways in the Del Monte Forest dominate the landscape. It would be the course of choice, obviously, if we've got bad, poor weather, high winds, but it's not an easy golf course by any means. This course does require some length off the tee. Keep that in mind, but it is only the 1 day, so it's not going to be that big of a deal to us. But nestled in on the coast, probably the most beautiful golf course in the United States that hosts a PGA Tour event, is the Pebble Beach Golf Links. And it is a unique league style experience, just a bit over 7,000 yards and playing a par 72. It's a very short golf course. The signature ryegrass fairways are plenty generous, and players are always going to be clubbing down to make sure they hit those fairways. And this, with the link style course approach shots, it's going to be a very, very much a second shot golf course. Greens and regulations will be huge. It is uphill, downhill to the small signature greens. Poa grass greens average a mere 3,500 square feet. They call them postage stamps. They're probably the smallest greens they'll face all year long. Even set at a slow pace to compensate for the winds, these greens are very difficult. 3 putting way up. So putting uphill even difficult because if you miss going up past the hole, then you're really even the shortest 2.5 footer down the hill could lead to disastrous results. So speaking of weather, this week it's going to be very important to track this weather. There's all kinds of it going on. So basically what we're looking at so far is a look ahead is looks like a lot of rain, a lot of high winds leading all the way into the tournament. Could be very, very dicey on the start times. Could see delays. Who knows what's going to happen? So it's almost going to be one of those wait as long as you possibly can to finalize your picks. Tee times will matter some, but with only 80 players and then paired with and not worrying about a cut also, and paired with these amateurs, it's gonna go off in a, I don't know if they'll stagger it or not, be honest with you, because when you're playing with amateurs, it's obviously a longer day of golf in general. So they may break off to eliminate backups, bottlenecks, and whatnot. So they may space it out for a couple hours. Keep that in mind. Also, equally important is going to be the drop in the temperature this week. It looks low to mid 50s as a high temperature for most of the tournament, which is very cold on the coast, especially the California coast this time of year. So getting into the golf course, it's going to create like a British Open feel, in my opinion. So anyway, my favorite hole has got to be number 6 with that par 5 blind second shot over the ridge up to the like the castle, as I call it, green on top of the cliff there. And then you have to go right back and hit that little tiny green going downhill on the par 3. Very unique setup layout at Pebble. But like I said, Pebble is forgiving off the tee. So the players are going to be laying back. Accuracy, I mean, driving, I'm almost going to negate driving. Maybe I'll do a little strokes gained off the tee, weighted approach type thing. We'll look at that in a few minutes. But definitely going to be heavy on greens and regulation approaches. Um, Players that grind out in the wind, especially with these unpredictable gusts, going to be blowing the ball all over the place. Players with some coastal experience, guys that have played in British Opens before, that have played in these rainy, sideways rain type conditions. Players that use a knockdown iron shot to cut through the wind. Those are kind of the Euro guys. Also, for a little more comp, and you'll hear this too, the 2021 tournament was the following year from the COVID break, and they decided to go without the Pro-Am that year, and they played this exact format. They played 3 days on Pebble, 1 day on Spyglass. So those results, I think Daniel Berger won that year. Uh, that could be a good indicator, but you want to go back and look at past history on the weather as well, because some of these have had a significantly milder weeks than we're going to see. But let's not get all end all be all into weather. It is what it is, and it could change on a dime. It's the coast, so we'll just have to wait and see. All right. The contest is out, as you can see. Same thing, 50 players, $2 entry. Jump in it. It's a good time. So, anyway, let's get back to the play here. Just wanted to show you something real quick on Rick's site. This is a holy grail that I put together. And basically, what I did here was I just put together like the last half a dozen years or so on courses that were 7,100 and below, and the greens 5,500 square feet. So short, small green golf courses, which probably will be dominated mostly by this Pebble, but there are a few other ones. Heritage, I think, qualifies in that range as well. So, and you could play with this as much as you want, but I figured I got, 30 something rounds. I like where Justin Thomas is sitting up here. That's kind of cool. We'll get to him in just a second. Well, anyway, JT doesn't have a ton of history here, but he's been playing a lot better golf. We know he's one of the best wedge players, and that's where we're going to emphasize heavily this year. His best surface is POA, but his putting has obviously been what's holding him back for the last 18 months or more. So I think with the difficulty in putting in general, it's going to bring everybody back to the field a little more. So JT is somebody I'm very interested in at 9,600. Obviously, guys like Jordan Spieth in that range as well. But like I said, the wedges are going to run from 75 to 125-yard ranges. But guys like Jordan Spieth will be $9,400. Let's look at the cheat sheet and see where the pricing leads us. Uh, I like to look at this because you got your pricing, and then you got a little bit of your projections and fantasy points. And you can see the projections are kind of high for the big dogs. Any one of these guys can go out and wreck shop and win this golf tournament. Obviously, Victor Hovland would line up very well for this with his improved around the green game. But if he's on his game, he is just going to be fairways and greens all day anyway, and it's just only going to be a matter of how many he wins by, because if he putts, then he's going to be a real threat to take this thing down. Patrick Cantlay is another one that popped up on early modeling, obvious reasons, but the guy has a good history here. He tears up easier courses, but he can also play. He's a California POA type putter, bent grass, overseed, all that good stuff. Max Homa, obviously, his California connections are well documented, along with Morikawa, who doesn't have a whole lot of history here either. Aberg is kind of like Victor Hovland rookie, Victor Hovland light in my opinion. He has a very similar game in that he's really accurate and he really hits his irons well and he gains all that stuff across the board and he's long. But length obviously doesn't matter here. Other guys that I thought were really underpriced. If you go down here and you got your Burnses and your M's and all these guys in the 8Ks, I might even actually be interested in Hideki this week because he's just keeps popping up as one of the best wedge players in the world to this day. Matty Fitzy, possibly because he won't have to try to swing for the fences every time, and he's got a good finish here a couple years ago. Hoygaard made a big run last week. Benny on, all these guys down here, and then you get to the 7K range, and this range just seems these guys are way underpriced with Clark, Hadwin, Cole, Steven Yeager. Nick Taylor's always a popular play of mine on shorter courses. He won big for me in 2020. Then let's see, Russell Henley, Tom Hoagie, Maverick McNeely, Adam Hadwin. I love Adam Hadwin at courses like this because he just tears it up. He's really good putter as well. Down here, but you can go all the way down the line toward the end here, and these guys, even in the low 6Ks, are all players. Maverick McNeely, he's got a couple of top 5 finishes here. S.H. Kim was making a good run for me until Saturday last week. He kind of fell apart, but I like him on longer, tougher courses like we saw at Torrey. Webb Simpson, I don't know how he got I guess he got into this golf tournament with his major. He's still on major exemption or something or other because I'm not really sure where he's been in the last year and a half where he would qualified. But he's the kind of guy that could pop up here and play because he's, accurate off the tee and his wedge game used to be second to none. Don't know what's happened to him since. But Sam Ryder, 6K Sam Ryder is a guy you can take a leap on, and Seamus, famous Seamus. I don't know what happened to his game, but he's way down this list as well. All these guys in the low to mid sixes. Ownership's gonna be very interesting this week because it will spread the whole way. I think that there will absolutely be guys used down here in the Davis Riley range and the Matt McNeelys. All these guys are going to be used because they're all good course fits. JJ Spawn, Poa putter, he's got a 16th place finish. So just keep an eye out on these guys down here. Real quick, I believe I don't have a model. But my early modeling was showing all the same guys, Hovland and all those good guys. But let's finish up with just a little quick builder. So, like I said, I really like JT. I want to start kind of around him this week. And instead of getting all into the top guys, the way this year has been going, we ought to start filling our lineups at the bottom. Matthew Pavon wins. So we got our third winner this year that just came out of nowhere on us. So we could be down here with a guy like Lee Hodges, Seamus Power. So we'll just take Lee Hodges. I kind of like, or Ryder, either or. I kind of like Hodges' game though, the way he plays. And then you got Matt McNeely. You can double up down here. And now we've got, we could get 4 guys in the 9K range. In a no-cut event. So it's going to be between stacking 2 of these guys way up top, like a Hovland and a Xander or something like that, and then leaving you 8K. Or like I said, you've got Spieth down here. You've got Fleetwood. And then you still got 10-2 to go up here and get Victor. You can build anything you want this week, which is kind of crazy. So I'm not going to do anything with that just yet. But that's going to do it for the preview show. Study long, study wrong. Don't get too into it. But I would put a little more emphasis on the putting, maybe inside 10 feet, because that's where you're going to make your bones. Getting up and down from around the green, guys are going to have to make these 5-foot tricky putts. So the guys that can do that the best might be the guys to go with this week. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.